What is Solo Funds?
Solo funds basically is what my mind, when I think of what a community bank should be. We allow regular people to request funds or loans, no approval process. You select your own terms, when you can pay it back, how much you actually want to pay a lender. And then actual lenders like myself, regular people, can scroll through those requests and actually lend the capital to these individuals. So we remove the whole notion of a financial institution reaping the benefits. We like to think our lenders are individuals who reap the benefits. So the whole financial system of what Solo is today, redistributes wealth back into our community. So it can be a freeing tool for paying lenders, as well as individuals who want to grow real wealth.
Tell us, when did you start? So let me take it back, because anybody that's a serial entrepreneur, which I am as well, which Drew is part-time, you were raised with a certain understanding of the world that you had to figure out how to disrupt. That's that word that they use now, disrupt. But Black is disruptive. Our very being is disruptive. So disruption is in our very DNA, right? Talk a little bit. Tell us your story, your journey about how you got here, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I mean, my journey, I'm originally from Baltimore. I went to Howard. I then went to work at Procter & Gamble. My parents are all entrepreneurs. My mom is a hairstylist and a nurse. My dad is a plumber and a carpenter, and he buy and sell houses. So I grew up in a household where we were always thinking about disrupting or figuring out how to change our situation. Once I got out of school, I did 4 degrees while I was at school. I felt like I had the tools to be whatever I wanted to be. And then I chose to be into tech after Procter & Gamble. I had my first company's idea, which became Listener. Listener went on to raise, $40+ million, investors like Visa and Intel. I then figured out that I needed to change my community, and I created Solo to do that about 4 years ago.
$40 million you got from different places to do what? So when I hear that, it's like, what are you doing with that money? What happened when you got the money? What did you do, and how come we don't see it everywhere? Or maybe we do. Maybe it's some places that we don't know that you're there.
Well, I mean, Listener is a technology provider to retailers or banks or mobility companies. So we sell to very large companies in the world, and we help make their payments the way they commerce safer. So it's a security product. So it's very hard for an average consumer like you and I to actually interact with Listener. I would tell you that Solo, given that it's a consumer app, anyone can go out and download it, it's going to have a significant, much more visibility, especially in our community, especially as, the reason why I started it is because I would go home, people would look at, Rodney raised all this millions of dollars, so I can go out and get money from Rodney. And I would have all types of cousins asking me for money, and I would be thinking, I was like, how do you get money? Where's your access to capital? Do you have a credit card? Do you have loans? And what I've learned is even though I may have cousins that had great jobs, they also were indebted to all of these different organizations that were creating traps for them. And I felt like I needed to fix that and change that. So I don't know if the story is interrelated by purpose or design, but I'm thankful for it.
No, everything that we do is divine order, just so you know.
Hey.
We are here on purpose, Rodney Williams. So I'm glad that we made that pivot into Solo Funds, because I've been asking this question too. How do I get money to other countries? Like I was in Ghana in December, and I met these dope people that made beads, right? And this guy literally bangs your name in Akan into brass, and then you go to the next lady and she strings the beads for you, and I have like a bunch of beautiful beads. So I just reached out to them this weekend because I'm like, I want to sell these beads now. And the big thing was I can't just sell them money because they don't have Zelle. So we got to figure out Western Union versus this and that, the fees. And I'm like, by the time, and they don't want to, trade in different other kind of money because the fees are so exorbitant in Africa. So I was like, how do we get money to you? How do we, what do we do? And now you come on with this Solo Funds, which is what you were not supposed to come on to talk about. And then here we are, divine order.
Exactly. Now we got big ambitions. We want to provide this platform globally one day. I mean, currently we're in the United States, but our vision for this company is for individuals in the United States to lend money to folks in Africa, and folks in Africa to lend money to folks in Japan if they choose so. But we don't necessarily have to play by the rules of the institutions before us, if that makes sense.
Do a new thing. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so Rodney, I got a question for you. When you're talking about solo funds, is that an opportunity for me to say, hey, I got 10 G's that I don't necessarily have anything specific that I'm going to do with right now. I want to be a lender in the solo funds network.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about all the SUSU networks that are going on in our community, yes, the answer is yes. Any individual can literally sign up on Solo in 1 minute. We verify who you are, and you can actually lend to our community, and you can make significantly more returns than the S&P 500 than what you would on your local SUSU or doing any type of Forex or Robinhood thing that you think you're going to be able to do. I promise you that. It's unfortunate that the majority of my lenders on my platform currently don't look like me, because we also have a tendency to be nervous about new things that look like us, versus we shouldn't be by any means. So, yes, I completely encourage folks to go on Solo and lend, and you can make a significant amount of returns doing so.
So unlike, because when Obama was in office, he lifted the ban of, you had to be $250,000 in assets and this and that in order to lend money to businesses, right? And he put forth legislation that allowed us to be able to do peer-to-peer lending for businesses. Is this in that vein? Did that allow for you to do this with solo funds?
So, I mean, we're in the, I tell you, it didn't hurt. We're focusing today on personal loans. So the loans that we're offering to individuals are between $50 and $500. But it's very, very important, and the way we made it safe for individuals like you and I is that these loans have a duration of less than 30 days. These are 14-day loans. So think about your $10,000 capital is completely given back to you within a very, very short amount of time. So it's a very, very liquid investment. You don't necessarily need to just invest your savings account. You can actually cash out on your checking account, because the money is actually going to be returned in a certain period of time. That liquidity was very, very important for us to manage the risk of this demographic, if that makes sense.
That is brilliant, actually.
When we go to venture capitalists that don't look like myself, they don't understand that when my mom couldn't pay her light bill on Friday, or it was because it was due on Wednesday and she gets paid on Saturday, right? So, of course, what would happen is the light bill would turn off, and then she would have bad credit. But she didn't have a money problem; she had a cash flow problem. And this is the dynamic of our community that we've designed a product around it because we look like this.
Doubling down on and over-serving what you know and people you know and people who you look like is so important, man. I love to hear you say that you layered cultural competency on top of problem solving, on top of knowledge about technology and just sort of how all of these in-house systems work. Because I think about how important micro-lending is, not just, literally all over the world, how important micro-lending is and how important it is to infuse cash flow into minority households, right? Just in general, and what that does in terms of saving people, and how a traditional depository account is not where every single American is right now, regardless, of how hard they may work every day.
Yeah. One of the things when you think about microlending, it's changed countries, right? India, Africa, Brazil, and then every time in the United States, it's failed for various reasons. But one of the things that gave me hope is that when I looked at the amount of Americans that live check to check, we have the biggest third world group here. Right?
Yeah.
But the individuals that create technology and create products don't necessarily create products. First of all, they're not from that place. They don't understand the cultural nuances that they need to create the product. And then they don't have the technical capability to do so. I just think luckily and fortunately, myself and my co-founders are in a position to start to do this. And I think this is going to be one of many things that Solo does.
So I just went on solofunds.com. I'm gonna sign up as a lender after the show because I think that's important.
Me too.
What's the range and what's the return for a person that's lending?
Yeah, so, I would tell you you can lend, what you like. I would encourage you to lend a couple $100, maybe $1,000 if you like. I would tell you as a first-time lender, we have a feature called Lender Protection. I would go ahead and click that Lender Protection. You pay a small fee up front to guarantee that in the event that borrower does not pay you back, Solo will step in and pay you back and make sure that you're whole. I would do that for the first couple months as you start to understand our score, reasons why you want to lend people capital. But once you get a hang of it, I think everyone gets a hang of it after about 15 loans. We have lenders lending every 5 to 14 days and making, anywhere from 10 to 20% at the end of that 30-day time period.
Wait. Pause, Grandpa. Pause. Rodney Williams. Did you say what 10 to 15? Listen, right now I think the average interest rate return is like 0.1 is 1%. I think the best you can get right now is 1%. Like the CD rates are like 1 year is like 0.5%, 0.8%. If you go on bank rate, you can see the rates. 2% was a luxury back before COVID, but the interest rates are going down. So parking your money in money market account or even in a bank right now at 0.1% in most institutional banks, you're talking about a 10% return on $1,000 within 30 days?
It's possible, it's doable, and we have a ton of lenders doing it.
Okay, so that sounds predatory on the other side. If I'm borrowing $1,000, am I paying 10% interest on that $1,000?
Not on average. What's allowing you to reap that level of interest is because the cohort of the loan isn't 30 days. So it's not one loan you're giving. So let's just say $100. So you can choose to only do 5-day loans. You go in and you loan $100 and you may make 4% on $100, and 5 days later you do it again, and 5 days later you do it again. In a given 30 days, you can do that 6 times. That's the magic. That's not completely transparent. Is that you're lending the same amount of money over and over again in a small.
And it's compounding, which is magic.
That's
He done said something just now. Oh, okay, Rodney, we're gonna have to talk off mic. He just got, man, my brain is frying right now just thinking about the possibilities. This is amazing. And okay, how long have you been doing this?
So the platform launched about 27 months ago. We've originated over 45,000 loans, 300,000 downloads, growing 40 to 50% month over month, all word of mouth. We haven't done any advertising because we believe you build something great, people talk about it.
And let me tell y'all, he did not come on to talk about this. So look, I promise you, he did not come on to talk about this. Was everything that we needed to hear today for a lot of reasons. Rodney, let's stay in touch, brother. When you come back, let's get our audience involved, and then you come back and let's do some praise reports and see if this is true. Let's hold him to account, y'all.